One of the more famous photos of the late great Kobe Bryant was him sitting with his daughter Gigi Bryant at a Lakers game courtside on December 29th, 2019 against the Dallas Mavericks. He was wearing a pretty eye-catching WNBA orange sweater, and he's always been a proponent of women's basketball. And with the WNBA All-Star game around the corner, Nike is dropping a Kobe shoe that is a nod to his support for the WNBA. Nike Kobe 6 Protro Total Orange. And the shoe drops on July 18th for $190 in the United States, one day before the WNBA All-Star game. And we first saw this shoe, I believe it was Jalen Brunson, though he did wear a slightly different colorway. So it was majority orange, but the swoosh, as well as this Mamba logo, was more white. And Protro, if you didn't know, that is a term Kobe Bryant actually came up with himself. So it stands for Performance Retro. He didn't want to just bring his shoes back, he wanted to improve it. So he came up with that term, and the rest is history. And first impressions of this shoe, I've always liked fully orange shoes, but usually more like burnt orange, dark orange, so slightly darker shade than this. But I get it, this is going for that exact same type of orange as the WNBA logo, so I know why they went slightly brighter. But yeah, I like it slightly darker, like on the tongue. That shade of orange is beautiful. The scales itself and the heel here, it's a bit too bright for my liking, but overall I think it's still a pretty nice colorway. I actually think though, if the swoosh was white, just like the one Jalen Brunson wore, I would have liked that more. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And the materials on the Kobe 6, it is micro mesh with these Mamba-like scales all over, of course playing into the theme of the Black Mamba. And the scales actually provide the material with a bit more support and stability. And the swoosh itself, it is just like printed onto the shoe. It is a silver swoosh, and moving up tongue, you get a mesh tongue leading up to the Mamba logo, and that is supposed to represent a sword in a sheath. Kobe Bryant did get his nickname from Kill Bill. The main protagonist's assassin name was Black Mamba. And then moving around the heel of the shoe, it is this TPU plastic heel counter that has Kobe Bryant's signature on the back with 6 dots, obviously to represent Kobe 6. And the materials on the heel here, it is actually synthetic leather as well as the ankle collar. The shoe doesn't come with any extra laces, just orange laces out of the box. If I had to choose another color, probably white, but I think orange works well in this case, going for a more chromatic or monochromatic look. Honestly, I wouldn't have minded if they made the swoosh like another shade of orange where you can still see it, but it still kind of blends in. I think, at least in my head, they would look pretty sleek, but orange laced it is, you don't get a choice. And in terms of the cushioning of the Kobe 6 Protro, it does come with Cushlon instead of Phylon that came in the original Kobe 6s. The Cushlon is more responsive, it is more plush. Especially back in the day, some Phylon can come like very stiff and firm. And as a player that's over 30 years old, I definitely prefer a more cushioned and softer type of setup for my crappy knees. And this shoe does come with one Zoom Turbo unit in the forefoot, but that is a larger unit than the original Zoom unit that came in the forefoot here. They also came with a heel unit back in the day when this shoe first came out, but they did take this out of the Protro. Not too sure why. I would have preferred another Zoom unit and the heel for the shoe, but overall cushioning setup, it is still pretty balanced. I think like responsiveness, the plushness, and the bounciness of the shoe, it's all good. Nothing like super elite, but it's all pretty good. You do still sit like pretty low to the ground. Like recent shoes, like the Asia ones, I felt like set a bit too high. This one is slightly lower, and a lot of basketball players do prefer that low core profile feeling. And in terms of the traction of the shoe, this traction on the Protros also has been scaled down, so that gives it less break-in time and better court feel. But I do feel like the traction on the Kobe 6 does require a bit more break-in time, so you gotta have a little bit of patience, especially in a gym where it's not like super clean. On a very well-maintained gym, the traction will do just fine. It is very good after you break it in. But yeah, if you have a dusty gym, just give it some time. You might have to wipe your shoes quite a bit initially. And one thing I love about this outsole is the translucent nature of it, especially in the outrigger part. You see how it pops through when you're looking like from a bird's eye view. You can see through that. I think that looks really good. I still wouldn't play with this shoe outdoors. I think it'll perform well, but rubber isn't like super thick. Durability wise, it might just not hold up too well. And speaking of the outsole here, you do see on the lateral side this Mamba code that actually says Black Mamba, and on the tip of the toe box says phenomenon, but like Venom playing into the whole Black Mamba theme. In terms of overall support, you do also see a carbon fiber shank here. Carbon fiber, if you didn't know, is super strong, very lightweight, provides stability and torsional rigidity, so your shoes don't bend and twist very easily when you're playing ball. That can be very dangerous and it's not good. It can lead to rolling your ankles, really busting up your feet. And one great thing about carbon fiber is it provides kinetic energy return. So when you push off your basketball shoe, you want as much energy to come back as quickly as possible. Some shoes like the Adidas Dame 9s, I'm not quite sure if the Dame 10s have it, it might. I haven't reviewed that shoe yet, but the Dame 9s came with a carbon fiber plate that is like pretty much the full length of the shoe. I don't particularly love that setup because it can come pretty stiff out of the box. You do have to kind of get used to it. I do prefer if the plate was just like in the midfoot area. And support wise, in terms of the materials, it really does keep my feet pretty locked in place and I don't feel like it's gonna bust through the material. I am a very lightweight player though, so if you're heavy and you're wearing Kobe's, definitely get a second opinion. This TPU heel counter, it is nothing fancy. It's not like carbon fiber or anything, but it definitely still does the job. Locks your heel in place. From a bird's eye view, you'll see the outrigger. It is pretty decent and that provides a bit more stability as well. The base of the shoe, especially in the forefoot area, is decently wide too, so that provides more contact surface with the court. It also gives you more stability. And the insole of the shoe, I'm not gonna rip it out, but as expected, it is fully orange with the same silver Mamba logo on the heel. In the box of the shoe, an all black box with Mamba scales all over, Mamba paper inside. And in terms of the sizing and comfort of the Kobe 6, all Kobe's for a wide and flat footer like me, there's just no perfect fit because it is very narrow, very slender. But if you go up half a size, there might be too much like room in the toe box and it gives you a bit of heel slippage, which I just don't love for basketball sneakers. I really like a tight, snug fit. But as a wide and flat footer, it can be very tight, especially when you're first trying to break the shoe in. Usually for Kobe 6s, I still stick true to size, but I think I'm probably a rarity and an exception for a wide and flat footer. Generally, if you do have feet like mine, you probably want to go up half a size. I just like a super tight fit when I'm playing ball, but the reality is, if you do have wide and fat feet, Kobe 6s just aren't going to be the best fitting for your feet. Now, apart from that, overall comfort-wise, like on your feet, I think it's a decently comfortable shoe if you're wanting to wear this like casually. The cushioning feels decently soft and balanced. However, it is still pretty low to the ground if you're into like walking shoes that have very thick soles. Basketball shoes usually don't give you like a very thick sole. They want to keep a low profile, so keep that in mind. And in terms of the weight of this shoe, Kobe's always been obsessed with weight, shaving every ounce possible. So it's a very lightweight shoe. It is not like the lightest you're gonna get in 2025, like not the lightest in the market, but still, if you complain about the weight of a Kobe 6, shame on you. The Kobe 6s are still one of the most popular basketball shoes for NBA and WNBA players. There are shoes that I think have come out since that are better for my feet, especially in terms of performance. I still prefer the Sabrina 2s over this. I think overall though, final verdict of the Kobe 6 for basketball, performance anyway, cushioning might be maybe slightly outdated, but still performs decently well. It's very well balanced. The traction, if you're playing in a pretty well maintained gym, is very good. Takes a bit of time to wear in, but if you're in a clean gym, you'll have no problems. And overall stability, it is very good too. One big thing though, for me as a wide and flat footer, the sizing and fit just can never feel quite right. But overall, still a very good shoe and very popular for good reasons. So that's it. Thanks for watching. So inclined. Let me know what you think of the Kobe 6 Protro Total Orange. Like, subscribe, comment, all the good stuff. And remember, tomorrow may never come, so wear your shoes.